Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Dr. Andrew Markey, consultant dermatologist, skin scientist, and I want to talk today about something that you might not know about, and that is the incredibly close relationship between our human brain and also our skin. The story goes back right from when we first began as a developing embryo. Even as early as 3 weeks, we're actually a ball of cells inside our mother's tummy, divided into 3 layers. Something called the endoderm, which becomes your guts and your lung. Something called the mesoderm, which sorts your muscles and your bones out. But critically, for today's discussion, a 3rd layer called the ectoderm, and that forms the brain and the skin. Yeah, the brain and the skin are intimately and uniquely connected from the time, literally, of conception. This close association lies behind the success and the importance of the skin in helping humans to develop. It's not surprising, therefore, that the skin can impact on the brain and vice versa, the brain can impact on the skin. And these interplays actually form the dermatology subspecialty of psychodermatology. Let's talk about things that can happen in the brain that present themselves on the skin. If, for instance, you're a bit stressed out and anxious for whatever reason, messages go from the brain down into the skin. And simply by being stressed, crazy things happen in the skin. Our itch threshold drops. When you show a video of fleas to a group of medical students in a lecture theatre, within a few seconds they start itching and scratching their skin. The stress and the brain imagining drives itching onto our skin. It also drives something called neuroinflammation. The ends of our nerves coming down from our brains start to secrete chemicals, things such as calcitonin gene-related peptides, stuff like that, substance P. These things produce inflammation and redness in your skin. And the stress from your brain also activates the hormone cortisol. Messages pass from different parts of your brain down to the adrenal gland. That's a little gland that sits on your kidneys, forming cortisol. And this cortisol drives the production of testosterone and sebum. So all of these things, inflammation, reduced itch threshold, neuroinflammation, all of these things produce a deterioration in the skin. At its simplest, it might be just that you scratch your skin a little bit and you get a little localized area that we call neurodermatitis. Or you might start being much more aggressive and getting a change that dermatologists call dermatitis artifacta. If you're getting increasingly stressed and you're so predisposed, you might start pulling your hair out in little bunches. That's called trichotillomania. And also really severe episodes of stress, psychological shock, death of a relative, things like that, you can actually shed your entire hair. And serious psychological problems such as delusions can have big impact on the skin. Patients with what we call delusional parasitosis present to clinic with bits of skin flakes and hair, thinking that they represent parasites that are exploding out of the body. But of course, they're not. So there's a whole range of skin conditions caused by a brain to skin interaction. Likewise, turn it round, there are things that can occur on the skin that impact on the brain. So widespread inflammatory lesions such as eczema, acne, psoriasis, these sorts of things, if widespread, come up into the brain, generating stress within the brain, which then through the feedback mechanism that I've talked about also makes the actual inflammatory conditions worse. And if you've got very active skin disease, the leakage from the skin into the blood of inflammatory mediators can pass through your blood-brain barrier, producing changes in mood such as anxiety and depression, and they can also impact on your ability for cognition. But the most interesting aspect of brain-skin interaction is that your skin, although a barrier, is also a canvas. And like a canvas, people can look at the canvas and read what is going on in your skin. And there's almost an action of the skin to act like a looking glass, that you can look at the skin and get a look into the conscious and subconscious thoughts that are passing through somebody's brain. People might want to send out a message called front staging that is actually different to how they feel inside, but the skin will give them away because the looking glass shows exactly what's going on. So there's 4 main situations in which our conscious and subconscious thoughts are given away by the skin. The first one is blushing. We all know what blushing is: redness of the face, a feeling of embarrassment. Blushing only occurs where there's another person involved. There has to be an interaction with another person in blushing, because implicit in it is a judgment by the other person that you've sort of done something wrong. It's almost like a subconscious fessing up that you've done something that isn't right. And our skin gives us away. You can't consciously stop flushing. So you might speak words that are supportive, but your skin blushing will give you away that you're in conflict. Now, blushing is separate from flushing. Flushing is overall skin redness, not just restricted to the facial area. It can be all over the body, and that can be triggered not by the presence of another person. There's no judgment involved in flushing, but it often happens when you're very angry or irritated. There's just a release of chemicals, dilated, widening blood vessels, and you flush all over. It's entirely separate from blushing, but again, gives away the fact that you're cross and angry, for instance. The third mechanism that can give you away is emotional sweating. When you're stressed, when you're trying to hide things, when you're trying to pretend to be cool, sweating, emotional sweating, will give you away, whereby particularly on your hands, your feet and in your armpits, the output of the eccrine sweat glands and the staining of your clothes will make it very clear that you're not the relaxed, cool customer that you thought that you were. And the fourth and final thing that can happen, where the brain and the skin are going crazy, is what we term fight and flight response. When you're in a critically dangerous position, automatically, without you thinking about this, your body and your skin go into an automatic process where the blood from your skin is redirected into your heart, your lungs and your muscles to optimize your ability to escape rapidly. This is driven by a different hormone called adrenaline. And adrenaline, like the stress hormone cortisol, is also made in these small adrenal glands sitting on the top of your kidneys. This is an automatic process which is controlled by specialist nerves in the body called the autonomic, like automatic, nervous system. And again, is not under conscious control and involves the skin and the brain working together. So the importance of this connection is the ability to actually see on the skin of another, acting like a canvas or a looking glass, as to what their real thoughts and motivations are. Another example of how the brain, in concert with the skin, have worked together in our evolutionary progress as human beings. And as it's said, when you touch the skin, it's like you touch the brain. When you look at the skin, you're looking deep inside the mind. So beauty and humanity is much more than just skin deep. It's body deep, but often entirely dependent upon the skin. So I hope you found that interesting. I hope it covered areas that you're perhaps not aware of. Certainly food for thought when you're trying to front stage friends, making it appear that everything's great, whereas actually you're feeling quite the contrary. Your skin is going to put everybody straight. They will read this and they'll read it in an instant. It's been shown that you can perceive somebody's true motivations in under 2 seconds. Or as novelist Malcolm Gladwell says, in the blink of an eye. It's that fast and it's that important. So if you've got any questions about that, obviously put your comments down. There'll be shorter videos around this subject on all the other different social media outlets, and give us your feedback, and I'll look forward to seeing you all next week. Thanks a lot and cheery bye.